again. Well, today it's a bit dull, but it's considerably milder, so I've decided to come in my greenhouse and get on with a few more jobs. I've got some seeds that need to go in, some peppers and a few more seeds here, some lettuces and stuff, celery, and then a bit later on I've got some seedlings which I started off in these containers a few weeks ago, and as you can see, some are coming along wonderfully, but they do need to now be potted up into slightly bigger containers so they've got more room and then they can grow. So that's what I'll be doing today. So I'm trying this new method for me, but plenty of other people have been doing it for a long time, which is you take some kitchen paper and you sprinkle, not all of your seeds, but things like, I've done some tomato seeds, I'll show you those in a moment, and I've done my parsnip because they seem to be a bit of a difficult one to get going. I've also got last year's seed for the parsnips, so this at least I can see whether they're worth putting into bigger pots or not, or I'll buy some more. But you can do chilies, so I've done parsnip, tomato, and I'm going to do some home collected from a supermarket bought pepper seeds too. So I'm going to do that today. So all you basically do is take your piece of dampened paper. I think you'll struggle to see it because it's a white on white background. I don't actually want 2 million chilli seeds or chilli plants.
Very, because you don't like them.
No, however, I do tend to give them to people if they want them. Actually, there aren't that many seeds in there anyway. So let's have a look. How many have we got? Oh, actually, that's not too bad. I might do all of those this year. Okay. So I'm just going to sprinkle them gently onto this paper. So I'm going to use this bag that we've actually got sunflower seeds from because it's got one of those self-sealing tops on. I'm just going to gently pop them on there, make sure they're all stuck down. And I will pop my piece of damp paper in here. It's a little bit clumsy, but what can you do? There's not much room. Now, give it a little jiggle down. And then I will seal that up. And I'm going to put this in our airing cupboard indoors, which is where our hot water tank is, so it's always nice and warm. They don't necessarily need light initially, it's the warmth. So I will put them in there. I'll have a look every couple of days because I get quite excited. And then eventually, this should happen. Now, I don't know whether he'll be able to see. This is something, these are some I did last week. And they're actually from some tomato seeds that we got from a tomato on our holiday. Because they were such lovely tomatoes, I thought, why not have a go? And so, can you see the little, the little shoots on them?
These are from Tenerife, aren't
they are from Tenerife, those ones. And I've also got some from 2 other tomatoes, which was supermarket bought. They're not doing quite so well, but I can see some life. And these are actually 2 different types of last year's parsnip. Yet again, not seeing an awful lot, but there is some movement in there. So I might pull them out and have a little look in a moment.
They've been in the airing cupboard, yeah? They've
been all in the airing cupboard for about a week. So it does work. But as you can see, look, these ones have all gone. And I'll take what I can. I'm going to pop them up into this container. And then I'll cover them up and keep them in my little greenhouse.
Do you need to top them up while it's there in there with water?
Literally, I will do it now.
Okay, but whilst they're in the airing cupboard, you don't top them up with water?
No, because they're sealed in these little bags. Okay, yeah. I tried it in this, which wouldn't have been quite so hermetically sealed, but I can see there is some life in that end, actually.
That's moisture.
But ultimately, the moisture then it condensates, and then obviously it waters them again, so it works really well. Because these are still very small, I'm just going to make small holes in my pot like that. And I'm going to carefully... Now that's actually a root. I don't think there's much I can do about directions, so I'm just going to pop it in there. And cover him up. And that's what I'll do with all of them. Simple as that. I'm not expecting them all to live, hence why I'm putting 4 in each container, and then should they all do well, then I'll pop them up into their own container later. So I've taken the radishes from these pots, which were in little groups like this, and I've potted them up. And basically I've got some multicoloured radish here, and then your basic red radish here. Oh, mind your head. I actually had a very small, I had about 3 bunches left actually, which I didn't have space for in there, and I've put them straight out to one of my raised beds that Francesco made me, and I'll see how we get on with those outside. No guarantees with our weather, but we'll see. So here is a bunch, as you can see, I just popped them all in there. They're actually salad leaves and they're called cut and comes. The idea is that as the salad leaves develop, you pick off the leaves around the bottom and leave the core, and they will just keep growing, and they'll keep you going for a few months before you need new plants. And you can plant them in little groups of 2s and 3s together. Okay, so I'm just loosening them. I'm taking a small group like this, which will hopefully be sort of 3, 4 little plants, and just holding their leaves gently. I'll make a hole there and then pop them in. It's a bit difficult for me to do this with you looking and seeing, but can you see I'm using my little dibber, technical tool, just to pop them in, move the soil around, and then they're ready. I've already watered the soil. I won't water it anymore for now, and then I will just leave them in here where hopefully it's going to be warm enough, and then hopefully that will encourage the plants to keep growing. You can have a look next week. And I'll carry on.
That was a red pepper I gave to Julie from a recipe I made the other day.
Yep, ready to go in the airing cupboard, along with these. I don't think I've had much success with my parsnip seeds, by the way, everybody. I couldn't see any movement at all on those. So I'm going to put them back in for a bit longer in the warmth. I've got my little tomato seeds that have shown some action, which I've put in here. This one I didn't. I've only done half of the medium-sized tomatoes. They were like a, you know, like a traditional on the vine type tomato you'd buy from the supermarket. I've left this for now, and I'll see how they get on. I'm putting them back in the airing cupboard with the rest of them. Right, I've actually got some celery seeds I was opening. I wasn't going to buy any celery seeds, then I found these so cheaply. They were 49p yesterday in a shop we went in, and I thought, do you know what, it's worth a try. So I'm going to pop those now into these little 2 free spaces that I've freed up because I've potted on these little seedlings. What I've done before actually with a celery is, instead of, Francesco likes to take each stem off, I like to just chop from the top and make my way down. And then when you've got about this much at the bottom of the whole celery stalk, if you pop it in some water just so it's sitting on a plate with a little water, and then little shoots will grow down, and then you can put it in the garden and it will grow into a big plant. Those of you who follow us will remember that Francesco's been taking celery from a great big plant once before, but that one has died now. I'm hopefully going to do that as well, but for now I'm going to try a few little seeds. They are tiny. How many thousands of celery seeds, celery plants do we want? Just going to put a few. In fact, I might even leave it at that for now. That is a lot there, and we'll see how they get on. I'm going to pop that back into my little greenhouse there for a bit of extra warmth too. Because they're such tiny little seeds, I'm just popping some vermiculite on top, which is this very strange, almost like a mineral-based little stone. It's very light, and it will protect them while they're hopefully going to start shooting.
So looking forward to some very cheap celery.
Yeah, oh, it would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. And pop them in here. I will. There we go. Nice. Got more seeds to put in. I won't bore you, so I'll see you next time. Hi, and we're back again. It's about 9 days later. We're now at the very end of March in the UK, and the sun is out. It's about 15 degrees outside, so it's not warm by any means, but I have got my t-shirt on because it's okay as long as you're busy. Now, last time, if you remember, I was showing you how I'd been starting some seeds off in bags like this to try and see if they germinated. Now, what I did last time, if you remember, Francesco pops in here, is I popped some tiny little seedlings of various tomatoes in here. These are actually all tomatoes from, all seeds, should I say, from tomatoes that I'd actually either taken from my fridge or from our holiday. And as you can see, they're doing really well, so I'm pleased with those. Some movement on my parsnips. Don't know if you'll be able to zoom in, but these ones have actually got some life. So it's very exciting. I'm actually going to transfer them outside today and see if I can get those going. This type, which is a different type.
But the darker ones?
Yeah, can you see that the different sizes? These are bigger, these are smaller. These little ones seem to be germinating quite well, but not these ones. Out of interest, I've actually put some of the same seeds directly in the garden. You know, I'll try anything just to see if we can get any parsnips. We had about 5 or 6 at Christmas time last year that had managed to grow. I'm not very successful with parsnips. So we'll see how I get on doing it like this. But so far, there's a little movement. I also mentioned last time how I had some red pepper seeds I have since transferred them into this little square here because that was free. And then these actually live on this windowsill here. In a moment, I'll move everything around. And the chilli seeds that I was trying to get going in a bag as well, didn't really have much movement on those, so I've transferred them straight into here. This is my heated propagator, and so that will give them some more warmth. Hopefully they'll do better. These are my few little fennel seeds from before. I've only got 5 or maybe 6 coming along, so they're doing okay. And some onions that I popped in the back there, they're doing quite well. So far so good. I'll take you out to the greenhouse now and show you what's going on out there. So we're out in the greenhouse. As you can see, there's a lot of life going on here in my little seedling bench. I've got lots of my mange tout and my peas are coming on. These I showed you last time actually, how I'd taken the tiny little seedlings of the radishes and popped them into individual pots, and they're coming on really nicely. I'm nearly ready to put them outside. I might even pop them out in my raised beds later. These are some morning glory that will hopefully climb up my lovely new pergola that Francesco made me the other week. So I've grown those ready. Beetroot are not doing brilliantly. As you can see, they're still quite small, so I might leave them in here a little bit longer. My onions are not brilliant either. Not sure if it's the heat. As you can see already, what are we on time-wise, Francesco? Sort of early afternoon, and it's already in the shade here because of the trees. So I think ultimately that's mainly the problem. As you can see, I've got lots going in here. I've got my cauliflower, I've got some little lettuces. Those are the ones that I potted up last time from individual little seedlings. I've got some seeds there, but from my mum's garden. I've got no action there at the moment. And another trial of parsnip seeds. I did that earlier. So lots of things going on in here and hopefully coming on. More broad beans I got in as well. The idea is with doing your broad beans at slightly different stages is that you have sort of a continuation. They don't all become ready at the same time. Same with my peas. That's why I'm doing sort of staggering those ready for the season. So hopefully we can elongate the season. If you remember last time, I told you how I'd got a few little bunches of radishes, which I'd popped straight out into the raised bed. And these are them. They're coming on lovely. I've also done a row of just seeds to see how we get on. And as I said earlier, I'm going to now actually move some of those seedlings from in the greenhouse straight into here. This just gives them a bit of protection. Lovely Francesco made this for me. Gives them some protection. And then they should come on and be a little bit of an earlier crop. Between last time I saw you, I've actually taken some of the broad beans, little plants, and popped them in the garden. Now we have got slugs here, and 2 of the little plants have disappeared. That's why, another reason why if you start your plants and your seeds off in the greenhouse, you have small plants. As you get gaps, because I always do, you can just pop new little plants in there and then they grow up and along with everything else. But ultimately, by the time I've finished, I want this whole row full of broad beans. And Francesco likes a broad bean. I've also popped some cauliflowers in here. They're quite small still. I've been covering them up at night with fleece to keep them warm. Yet again, a couple are missing, so I think Mr. Slug has had those. But as you saw in the greenhouse, I've got plenty more, so I just need to pop a few more in. These are the pea shoots that I initially grew thinking I was going to just chop the top off, but then I've decided to pop them in the beds as they're coming on so nicely. So they're doing beautifully there. And I have popped some more seeds in on these 3 rows of the different types of peas and mange tout that I have. But at the moment, no sign of action at all. And I realise I've been quite a busy bee. I've also popped in some first early potatoes. You can't see anything yet. They'll take a while to come up. And then I will put the main crop in this part of the bed, probably more like the middle of April. So they're all coming on nicely. I think that's about all I've been doing actually at the moment. That's the extent of what I've been up to. So hope you've enjoyed a little tour of our garden today. I shall continue. There's plenty more to do, and I'll see you next time.